Welcome back to another episode of the Weekly Blitz. I'm your host, Coach Chris Cotton, and today we're continuing our conversation about coaching to valuation. But we're going to approach it through one of the most influential small business books ever written. It's called Michael Gerber's The E-Myth Revisited. If you haven't read it, add it to your list. And if you read it years ago, might be time to pick it up again, especially if you own an auto repair shop. Get the audio version, give it a listen, give it a read. The central idea of the book's pretty simple. Being good at the technical work of a business does not automatically mean you know how to build and operate a successful business. All right. And what we're talking about is being a great technician doesn't necessarily make you a great shop owner. Knowing how to diagnose a vehicle, replace an engine, solve an electrical problem, or take care of a customer does not automatically teach you how to build a leadership team, manage cash flow, create a marketing strategy, develop processes, or prepare a business for an eventual sale. That's the entrepreneurial myth. And it connects directly to valuation because a shop that depends entirely on the owner may provide that owner with a job, but it may not provide them with a valuable, transferable business. And today we're going to talk about how you move from owning your job to building an actual asset. All right, let's get after it. Well, also, if you're watching on YouTube, you're going to see me in my red t-shirt right here. I'm going to tell you, if you're a shop owner and you want me to wear your t-shirt on air, shoot me an email, chris@autofixsos.com. I'll give you my email address. I'll give you my size. So I will say, instead of the double XL, I'm just an L, baby. I'm just an L living in the world. So if you want me to wear it on air, shoot me an email. We'll get it over to me, and then I will tell you what episode it's in. I'll wear it, and then we'll go from there. All right. One of the big ideas in the E-Myth Revisited is that most small businesses are started by technicians or technical experts in their field. All right. That doesn't just mean automotive technicians. A technician in this context is anyone who knows how to perform the work that the business sells. All right. The baker knows how to bake. The plumber knows how to plumb or fix pipes. The accountant knows how to prepare financial statements. And the automotive technician knows how to repair vehicles, right? So eventually that person looks around and says, why am I doing this for somebody else? I'm good at this. I can do it so much better. I should open my own business. All right. And that's where the entrepreneurial seizure happens. You open the doors, you hang up the sign, you buy the equipment, you bring a couple of your buddies over, and you suddenly discover that you didn't eliminate the boss. You just replaced one boss with a whole collection of bosses. And now you have customers, employees, vendors, landlords, lenders, insurance companies, government agencies, and a bank account and a banker that always seems to need attention, right? You're still doing the technical work, but you're also hiring, firing, scheduling, purchasing, marketing, selling, managing payroll, handling customer complaints, handling customer chargebacks, reviewing financials, and taking out the trash and scrubbing toilets. I could probably add 20 more. So instead of owning that business owns you lock, stock, and barrel. You know, that story probably sounds familiar to a lot of you out there. Many owners started as excellent technicians. They knew how to fix cars, and customers trusted them. And the shop grew because of their reputation and the quality of their work. But the business was built around that individual. Customers asked for the owner. Employees waited for the owner to make decisions. Every difficult diagnosis went to the owner. Every upset customer went to the owner. Pricing decisions went to the owner. Sleepless nights went to the owner. Hiring decisions went to the owner. The owner approves every purchase, they answer every question, and they put out every fire. And so that's going to work for a while, and it can even produce a shop with impressive sales. But when we start coaching to valuation, we have to ask a different question. What happens to this business if the owner's no longer standing in the middle of it?
You didn't start a repair shop just for it to be an average business. So why does your shop's marketing look like every other shop's? At Shop Marketing Pros, we create custom websites and digital ads. We do search engine optimization and social media marketing that's actually customized to your shop, not templated. Stop waiting for your shop to rise above the competition by chance and book your discovery call at shopmarketingpros.com, because top-tier shops deserve top-tier marketing.
We talk about the three roles inside of the owner, right? Gerber talks about these three different personalities that exist inside a business owner: the technician, the manager, and the entrepreneur. The technician wants to do the work. The manager wants order, consistency, and predictability. And the entrepreneur looks toward the future and asks what the business could become. All three of these roles are super necessary. The problem is that many shop owners spend nearly all their time acting as the technician. They may no longer be turning every wrench, but they're still operating with that technician mindset. They solve whatever problem is directly in front of them. They're not proactive. A technician calls out, so they jump into a bay. An advisor gets overwhelmed, so they take over the counter. The schedule gets light, so they start throwing together a promotion. A customer complains, the owner personally handles it. So, that may be necessary occasionally. Leadership sometimes requires jumping in. Don't get me wrong. But when jumping in becomes the permanent operating system, the owner never gets the time or space to become the manager or the entrepreneur. The manager builds the procedures, scorecards, meeting rhythms, training plans, and all the accountability systems that keep the shop consistent. And the entrepreneur determines where the business is going. What kind of shop are we building? Who's our ideal customer? What positions will we need 2 years from now? Are we preparing to expand, transition ownership, or sell? What does the business need to look like for someone else to operate it successfully? So coaching to valuation requires all three roles, but it requires the owner to spend progressively less time as the technician and more time as the manager and entrepreneur. So that transition's uncomfortable because technical work feels productive. You can see the vehicle you repaired, you can hear the customer you helped, you can watch the schedule you rescued. Building systems doesn't always provide that immediate satisfaction. Developing a manager, documenting a procedure, or reviewing a scorecard can feel slower. And those are the activities that create transferable value. And so, as coaches in the background, we've had a saying for a long time. The reason why technicians are great at fixing vehicles is because they're not great with people. So they go to the back, they stick their head underneath the car, they can fix it and move on. But when you get out from that role and you start working outside of the technician role, that's when things get uncomfortable. And we default back to what makes us comfortable and what we know. All right. You've probably heard the phrase work on your business, not just in your business. It's become such a common expression that people sometimes stop thinking about what it actually means. Working in the business means performing the daily activities required to keep the doors open. Working on the business means building the machine that consistently performs those activities. And for an auto repair shop, working on the business might include creating a documented vehicle intake process, establishing a consistent digital inspection procedure, training advisors to present work using the same trust-based process, building a recruiting pipeline before you desperately need a technician and not after the fact, developing an onboarding plan, holding regular one-on-one meetings, creating a marketing calendar instead of reacting every time the bays get light, reviewing labor gross profit, parts gross profit, effective labor rate, productivity, ARO, car count, net profit, building a leadership team that can make decisions without waiting for the owner. Those things do more than improve daily operations. They reduce risk. And when someone evaluates a business, risk matters. A buyer isn't only asking, how much money did this shop make last year? They're also asking, will it continue making that money after the owner leaves? Are the customers loyal to the business or personally loyal to the owner? Does the team understand how the shop operates? Are the financial statements clean and believable? Are the processes documented? Is marketing consistent and measurable? Can somebody step into leadership without everything falling apart? The less certain those answers are, the more risk a buyer sees. And more risk generally means less value. And that's why reducing owner dependence is not simply about creating better work-life balance. It is a valuation strategy. I'm going to get back to the episode in just a minute, but I want to thank our sponsor, Shop Marketing Pros. A valuable shop needs more than good technicians and full bays. It needs a marketing system that consistently attracts the right customers and builds a reputation that belongs to the business, not only to the owner. Shop Marketing Pros specializes in marketing for auto repair shops. They take the time to understand your business, your market, and what makes your shop different. Then they help you communicate that through strategies such as websites, search engine optimization, digital advertising, social media, and content. This isn't cookie cutter marketing designed to make your shop look like every other shop in town. It's personalized marketing built to help potential customers know, like, and trust your business. If your marketing only happens when the schedule gets slow, it isn't a system yet. I want you to go visit shopmarketingpros.com, schedule a discovery call, and be sure to tell them Coach Chris Cotton and the Weekly Blitz sent you over. Let's get back to the show. So another major lesson from the E-Myth Revisited is the idea of building your business as though it were the prototype for many more locations. That doesn't mean every listener needs to franchise their shop. It means the business should operate from intentional, repeatable systems. If you were going to open a second location tomorrow, what would you need to document? How do you answer the phone? How do you schedule appointments? How do you greet customers? How do you perform inspections? How do you build estimates? How do you present recommendations? How do you order and receive parts? How do you dispatch work? How do you perform quality control? How do you follow up on declined work? How do you respond to a customer complaint? How do you close out the day? How do you measure performance? If the answer to those questions is the employees just know what to do, then you do not have a system. You have tribal knowledge. Tribal knowledge walks out the door when an employee leaves. And a valuable business captures that knowledge and turns it into a process that can be taught, measured, and improved. Now, I'm not saying you should create a 500-page operations manual that nobody ever reads. Start simple. Use a checklist. Record short training videos. Build templates inside your shop management system. Document the critical steps that protect quality, profitability, safety, and the customer experience. All right. You need to assign responsibility for each process, and then you need to review and improve those processes with your team. A system should help good people succeed. It should not be used as a substitute for leadership or common sense. All right. When your people understand the expected outcome and have a reliable process for achieving it, the shop becomes more consistent. And then consistency creates predictability. Predictability reduces risk. Reduced risk supports a stronger valuation. All right. Do you see it? Do you see what we're doing here? The other thing I need you to understand is profitable does not always mean valuable. A profitable shop is not automatically a valuable shop. Profit absolutely matters, and nobody wants to buy a business that doesn't produce a reasonable return. But two shops can report similar profits and still receive very different valuations. I want you to think about a shop A and shop B, and each of them produce the same adjusted annual earnings. In shop A, the owner works 60 hours a week. The owner is the lead diagnostic tech. They handle all the hiring, manages the front counter, approves every estimate, and maintains the key customer relationships. At the same time, the books are messy. Personal expenses are mixed into the business. There's no clear second in command. Marketing happens inconsistently, and most procedures exist only in the owner's head. Now that's shop A. In shop B, the owner has developed a strong manager. The financials are clean. Responsibilities are clear. The team follows documented processes. Marketing consistently produces leads. Customers have relationships with the shop and its team, not only with the owner. The owner reviews the numbers, coaches the leaders, and makes strategic decisions, but the shop can operate without the owner being present every day. And so those shops may show similar earnings today, but they do not present the same level of risk to a buyer. Shop B is a more transferable business, and that transferability is one of the most important connections between the E-Myth and coaching to valuation. You're building a business that can successfully transfer from your hands to someone else's hands. Here's a practical exercise you can do this week. Ask yourself what would happen if you disappeared from the shop for 30 days. Not a vacation where you check your phone every 15 minutes. I mean, genuinely unavailable in the woods, backcountry, elk hunting on the elk hunt of your dreams or whatever it is. Who's going to lead the team? Who's going to review the numbers? Who would handle a major customer issue? Who would make hiring decisions? Who would manage the schedule? Who would approve purchases? Who would communicate with vendors? Who would make sure marketing continued? Would your team know what authority they had, or would every decision freeze until you returned? And your answers are going to reveal your owner dependence risk, right? Don't use the exercise to beat yourself up. I want you to use it to identify the next most important systems and leaders you need to develop. And so I need you to start with the 3 decisions that most frequently require your involvement. For each one of these, I want you to ask, why does this still come to me? Is there no process? Is responsibility unclear? Does the employee lack training? Have you delegated the task without delegating the authority? Or do I keep taking it back because I'm uncomfortable with somebody doing it differently than I would? And so that last one's going to sting, right? It's going to hurt a little bit. Sometimes the owner is the bottleneck because nobody has been trained. Sometimes the owner is the bottleneck because the owner refuses to let go. Delegation does not mean abandoning standards. It means defining the expected result, teaching the process, measuring performance, and providing coaching. Your team may not do everything exactly the way you do it. The real question is whether they can produce the right result without requiring your constant attention and or intervention. When we talk about coaching to valuation, we're not saying you should spend every day thinking about selling your shop. You may not want to sell it for another 10 to 15 years. You may want to transition it to a family member. You may want to bring in a partner. You may want to grow multiple locations, or you may simply want more freedom and financial security. The work is largely the same. You build reliable earnings. You clean up the financial statements. You document the systems. You strengthen the leadership team. You develop employees. You create consistent marketing. You reduce customer and employee concentration risk. You invest in the appearance and condition of the business. You make the shop less dependent on any one person, including yourself. Those are all good practices, whether you sell the business or keep it forever. Coaching provides structure and accountability for all of that work. Most owners know they should document processes and review their numbers and hold regular meetings and develop leaders and plan for the future. The problem usually isn't a complete lack of knowledge. The problem is that today's emergency keeps pushing tomorrow's value building work off the calendar. So a coach helps you step out of the noise and identify the highest value work, what needs to happen over the next 90 days, which number needs attention, which process needs to be documented, which employee could become a leader, which responsibility does the owner need to release, and which risk would concern a future buyer. Then we turn those questions into specific actions and follow up on them. Because valuation isn't created on the day you decide to sell. It's created through the habits and the decisions you make for years before the sale. If we roll this back into E-Myth questions, like what are 5 E-Myth questions for shop owners? What do I want you thinking about? So I want to leave you with 5 questions based on today's conversation. I want you to write these down, take them into your next leadership meeting, even if it's just you at the coffee shop talking to yourself. Okay. Number 1, where am I still acting as the shop's primary technician? I need you to identify the technical or day-to-day work that continually pulls you away from leadership and strategy. Number 2, which important processes exist only in somebody's head? Choose one and document it this week. Number 3, what stops when I leave the building? Those activities reveal owner dependence and weak delegation. Number 4, are customers loyal to me personally, or are they loyal to the business and the entire team? A strong brand, consistent customer experience, and visible team relationships help transfer that loyalty to the shop. Number 5, maybe the most important, if I were buying this business, what would make me nervous? Don't answer as the proud owner. Answer as a cautious buyer putting their own money at risk. Would you trust the financials? Would you trust the team? Would you trust the systems? Would you believe the earnings will continue? Your honest answers are going to give you that roadmap. And I'm going to throw one more at you. A lot of times in coaching sessions, when I'm talking to the owner in the very beginning, I ask them, I'm like, hey, close your eyes and think about all of your employees. If you were to buy the business today and make everybody reapply, how many of those people would you not rehire, or who would you not rehire? And usually they always come up with 1, 2, or 3. And my next answer is like, why in the hell are those people still in your business? I've been going long. To wrap this up, the biggest connection between the E-Myth Revisited and coaching to valuation, I believe, is this. A business becomes more valuable when it produces results through systems and people instead of through the owner's constant heroic effort, right? If that business needs you every minute of every day, you haven't built freedom, and you may not have built something another person can confidently buy. Your goal is not to become irrelevant. Your goal is to move into the role where you provide the most value. That means seeing the vision, developing leaders, protecting the culture, reviewing the numbers, and deciding where the business goes next. All right. The technician creates today's result. The manager creates consistency. The entrepreneur creates the future. A valuable shop needs all 3, but the owner cannot spend their entire career trapped in the first role. So here's your challenge for this week. I need you to choose one recurring responsibility that depends entirely on you. Document it, teach it, assign it, measure it, and then resist the urge to immediately take it back. That one step may not dramatically change your valuation today, but if you repeat that process week after week, then you're going to start building a shop that's more profitable, more predictable, more transferable, and a whole lot less dependent on you. And that's how you stop owning a job and start owning an asset. If you need help creating the roadmap, if you need help developing your team, cleaning up your financials, or building a shop that can operate beyond you, I need you to reach out to us at AutoFix-Auto Shop Coaching, autoshopcoaching.com. Until next time, everybody, remember, your business should help you build the life you want, not become the reason you never get to live it. All right. My name is Coach Chris Cotton, and this has been the Weekly Blitz. I want you to have a great week. We're going to talk again soon. And remember, rise and grind. Have a great day, everybody.